Mrs. Goel, can we start?
Oh, yes, sure. It's your call. Yes, please, ma'am.
Good afternoon, very good afternoon, Principal Ma'am.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
My dear teachers.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good
Good
afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yes.
Good
These
afternoon.
days, I think the very fact that all of us are together makes the occasion a very special one.
Yes, ma'am.
True.
And today we have come for a very special purpose, as you all are aware, with a very special person all the way from Singapore.
Correct.
Most of us, ma'am, does not need any introduction, as all of us fondly remember her, not only as a former principal, but as a mentor, guide, and someone whom in many ways is responsible for how we work today. For the ones who don't know ma'am as yet, I would request our coordinator, Selja ma'am, to introduce ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Selja ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon and a warm welcome to everyone. Today, we all are meeting on a virtual platform to attend a webinar on building resilience and confidence in face of challenges by two of our special guests of honor, Dr. Malini Goel and Ms. Ruchika Patni. Firstly, I would like to introduce someone who is very close to most of us. Dr. Goel, welcome, ma'am. My words may fall short in praise of her. She is an educationist and an effervescent person. She is a former principal of Mahadevi Birla World Academy, formerly known as Mahadevi Birla Girls Higher Secondary School, Kolkata. Former principal of Lokhandwala Foundation School, Mumbai, and former principal of our very own Mangalam Vidyaniketan, Kolkata. Academically, she has done her doctorate in economics as well as postgraduate diploma in education management from Mumbai University. She occasionally pens down poems and write-ups in the newspapers. Above all, Dr. Goel's enthusiasm to learn and bring out the best is praiseworthy. I think most of us have experienced this, if you all agree. Our next guest of honor
Sharja, your mic is mute. Oh, sorry.
Ma'am, actually, I think overall I got
But
muted.
I'm sorry, I noticed
It's okay, ma'am. I'll
Right.
just go with it.
Ruchika's very good here, yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Our next guest of honor is Ms. Ruchika Patni. Ms. Patni is from Singapore. She is the CEO and director of Yoga Library.
Yoga Library.
Yoga Library offers teachers training courses in yoga, meditation, Ayurveda, and sound healing. She has built a team of therapists who conduct therapy classes for psychosomatic diseases, including arthritis, diabetes, hypertension, obesity, back pain, knee pain, and asthma. She is a young yoga practitioner and therapist trained by Swami Vivekanand Yoga University, Bengaluru. Ms. Patni has been a star student of London School of Economics, but her vision is to take yoga therapy to the world and has been coordinating the activities of Asian Yoga Therapy Association by organizing conferences, retreats, and workshops. She has been leading the International Day of Yoga in Singapore with the High Commission of India for the last 3 years. Mangalam Vidyaniketan once again welcomes Dr. Goel and Ms. Patni. Ma'am, the virtual screen is all yours now.
Thank you so much, Shailaja.
Ma'am.
You said, and Jaya said that I'm from Singapore. I think I'm very close to your heart. So,
Absolutely, absolutely.
so my heart has traveled all the way from here to MVN and to all of you. It's so nice to be here with all of you today on this virtual platform. And Shailaja, thanks for introducing me. I don't think I really needed to do all that. But anyway, thank you for that. And thanks, Mrs. Janki Mukherjee, for inviting me, and for all the family members of Mangalam Vidya Niketan, Khali and Mangalam Vidya Niketan, Howrah. Yes. So happy to meet all of you on this platform, experiencing the wonders of technology today. Who knew in the month of January that today in the month of September, we will all meet on this virtual platform and experiencing the wonders of this technology. Today, I find that most of us, especially those who are still working, have become omnipresent, something like that. You are in the school, you are at home, you are with the children, you are with the elders, and multitasking. I think the multitasking has really gone up. At times, while teaching, you find that the pressure cooker is on the gas. Don't take it otherwise, but this is what happens. And then you say, no, abhi whistle bahut dear ho raha hai, gas ko band karo. So all these things are happening, which is adding a lot of spice to our everyday working. Now today's meeting, please don't take it as a formal meeting. It's a very informal meeting. Meeting all of you. We are here to share our experiences and how do we handle different situations in life. Because every day the situations are changing, and it is changing for everybody in the society, but everyone is taking it in their own way. And when you take it in your own way, you find the solutions also in your own way. And certainly there cannot be one solution to the same problem, because everybody has different coordinates, the different parameters to measure it, the different situations. So what we will discuss here is something common, something general, which can be done, but then you have to tweak it as per your circumstances, your conditions, your situation. So before we start, I think all of us are there with our names, and keep yourself mute, and if you want to say something, certainly you can unmute yourselves. If you have any questions, you can put it on chat, which later on we can discuss it. And now let us start today on the topic building resilience and confidence in the face of challenges or stresses. Now, I'll just share my screen now. Yes. Yes. All of you can see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, that's nice. So, when the topic is about resilience, confidence, challenges, and stressors, let us first know what do we mean by this. I'll just give you the way the discussion will go on. First, we'll discuss these topics. What do we mean by these words, resilience, confidence, challenges, stressors, and then the current challenges in life, and the major time will be spent on how to face the challenges.
Ma'am, please unmute yourself. Please mute yourself. Monica ma'am.
Thank you.
Welcome. Bye.
Monica ma'am. Please can you mute yourself?
Okay, now we talk about resilience. What we mean by resilience is the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties and the ability of the substance object to spring back into shape or elasticity. You must have seen those exercising balls, that when you work with that, and as soon you press it, and then as soon as you leave, it bounces back to its original shape. So that is the resilience, that no matter whatever problems you face, you bounce back to life. The second word in our discussion is confidence. You can very well say that, yes, we should have confidence. But what is this confidence? What do you mean when you say that you have to develop the confidence? And how do you develop this confidence? A very simple example. Suppose you take a situation where you want to gain something, but you're not able to reach to that point. When you don't reach to that point, it gives you a lot of stress and you feel that you start losing the confidence. These days, everybody at home, they're trying to lose weight. Suppose you plan to lose 5 kgs of weight in 3 months, right? You every day morning, you are there on the weighing scale, you find that the weight is not going down. Now you decide that, okay, let me start with the small steps. I'm taking 6 cups of tea, now I will take 4 cups of tea, at least 2 teaspoons of sugar I'm taking less. I'm taking 3 sweets after the lunch and the dinner, I will take only 1 sweet. So slowly and slowly, when you move in that direction, you build confidence in that direction. Otherwise, you start losing it. So when you build confidence, you start admiring yourself even for little steps taken by you. You have to develop that thought that, okay, I am a confident person, and say, never mind. I have not taken 0 sweets today, but from 3 I have taken 1. So at least I have reduced 2 sweets. If not, at least some calorie I have not taken. So to build up the confidence, you have to take it in small steps, and each and every step you have to admire. Once you admire, that gives you confidence. So this is basically celebrating every little effort of yours. Yes, I can. But it's very easy to say, yes, I can. And the process is you have to develop confidence in small bits. And even the small bit is a lot in the same direction. The third word is challenge. Now the challenge is something very, very subjective. Maybe something which is a challenge for me may not be a challenge for the another person. So I take it here that, okay, everybody can think of their own challenge. Now in the case of challenge, one thing is very important. You have to be very mindful of your challenge. You have to think, is it really a challenge? Being mindful means what? Suppose you all must have seen that picture. I'll show you after this. That the elephant is there and the fish is there, and the elephant is telling the fish. Elephant is telling the baby elephant that why can't you swim like the fish? Right? But no matter how much the elephant tries, can't the elephant swim like a fish? So you have to introspect and see that the challenge which I'm taking it as a challenge, is it really a challenge or not? So first you have to weigh your challenge, that is it really a challenge or it's not a challenge? And then the challenge again has to be started into small steps. It's not that today, if you want to, even if you want to do studies, all of a sudden you don't pass out graduation. You move step by step. Every day you are moving and then you pass it out. So every challenge has to be taken in small bits. Suppose, like, I'll take one example. You want to go for higher education, but you have the whole day school. Now it's a challenge for you. How will you attend the classes when you already have the school? So you thought about it that, okay, it's a challenge, but this is what my desire is. And once that is my desire, I will have to do it somehow. You find out, is there any college which is giving the classes on Saturday, Sunday? Is there any college which is giving classes on after 3 o'clock? So you start changing that. challenge. You start working in the direction of that challenge. And then you find out, no, there is a school, there is a university, there is a college where you can take the classes on Saturdays. Maybe the regular children are going for 3 hours, 4 hours, but Saturday your classes are for 7 hours. But that challenge you are accepting. Why? Because you want to take up that challenge and go for the higher studies. So that challenge also has to be taken in small steps to be successful and to change the challenge into an opportunity. I'll just give you one feeler of this. So a challenge is something that puts you to the test. And you have to pass in that challenge, then only you can change that challenge into opportunity. Now, in the example of this higher education, the challenge is that you want to enroll for the higher education in the college or for PhD or for B.Ed or for any kind of class. Now, you have taken your working as an opportunity to face this challenge because your teaching in the school can be taken as an experience in that B.Ed college. So now we see how beautifully you have taken up this challenge and the entire situation, which was so negative, which anybody will feel that, no, how can I do my B.Ed when I'm working? But how beautifully you have changed the entire situation in your favor and taken it as an opportunity. Because I did my B.Ed like that. When I joined, I wasn't B.Ed, and then I was told by my principal that, Mrs. Goel, why don't you do your B.Ed? Number one, in the education sector, it is a must, the B.Ed qualification. And number two, you will be benefited in all in other ways also. So I approached a college, they said, Malini, I said, nahi hoga. I said, but this is my problem. And then the principal said, okay, you join and the output is yours. I said, yes, sir, that I will take up the care. I will take up and I will see that I do well. Luckily, I did well. That's a different story. But the thing is, see, when you come across such people who help you in meeting your challenges and converting your challenges into opportunities, you realize that how good the people are in this world. And unnecessarily, many times we misunderstand them. But the people are good in this world. Now, I'll just show you one. This is a challenge. It is about the education system they show, but this can be taken for an example of the challenge also. The fish is there, the monkey is there, and the elephant, the elephant says to the baby that, see, the monkey can climb the tree, why can't you climb? So here what I say, you have to weigh your challenge, that is it really a challenge or is it something which is just impossible, which is not possible for you because you don't have those basic traits. So just don't take any situation as a challenge. You have to think and rethink and introspect that the situation which I'm taking as a challenge, is it really a challenge or not a challenge? So this is a very, very important part when you take the challenge as a challenge. Now see, the challenges can be general and it can be situational. That is, general is which is in general the people have, like the financial problems, you can say the educational thing, you can say growing up, at times with the loved ones, you don't go on well, and that's a very big challenge in the current scenario. The friends simply say that, nahi, abhi to theek hai, let us break. Now today is the last, let us break. But it's not that easy, let us break. It's a big challenge. And situational is with the challenge which arises due to situation, like the pandemic. Like today I will discuss little more. Yes, because this is a situational challenge. It's not a challenge, a regular challenge. This is something which is a situational challenge. Like the changes, the general challenges can be family relationships. And this is a very big challenge. At times you feel your relationship is getting sad, you are not very happy. As a family, you are not liking some members of the family. So how to overcome that? Disappointment in love, and this can become very, very serious. You are going through the newspapers every day, and you know how serious shape it can take. Disappointment in friendship, a very close friend, a bosom friend, and you love that friend, and all of a sudden you find that, my God, I loved you so much, but what is this? What have you done? Now you see, here there may be a misunderstanding, which I will discuss later. That what we take as challenge may be a misunderstanding, maybe our quick reaction, maybe not the fact. Academic and career disappointments. I wanted to clear the JEE. Just now the result has come out. So many must be disappointed. So many must not have been cleared for the main. But then that's a part of life. They have to accept the challenge and never mind. Even if I'm not selected, before JEE, I have studied so much. Nobody can take my knowledge. And that is certainly going to help you in the real life situations. So nothing has gone wasted. Health issues, so many things to get on WhatsApp these days. Financial crisis, it's a very, very big challenge. Existential crisis, that okay, this very often happens when the people on the big post, you know, they retire. That now I have lost all my existence. I was doing this, I was doing that, and today I am nothing. But then you have to again analyze yourself, that is it really a crisis, or that's a part of growing up? You have gone up to that level, and now it is the time to do something else, to involve yourself in some other way, to give back to the society. So this is an opportunity that now I'm free from my regular responsibilities. So this is the time I can fulfill my own desires. I can go for my hobbies. I can afford to get up late. I can afford not to pack up the tiffin boxes. So there is so much of life and so much is fun rather than taking it as a existential crisis. Now, what are the stressors? Something that causes a state of strain or tension. This is a very simple language. You can say the stressors are something which causes tension. Now, at times you will find the stressors are just a flare-up point. That is, it flares up something. It is the stressor okay, I can give an example. Suppose a day in the school was not very good for you. A parent had come and accused you of many things which were not correct. You tried to make that parent understand that no, it's not like this. We have not done this to your child. Rather, we pampered your child. Your child is misinterpreting the entire thing. So your mood is already not good. The parent comes to the principal ma'am calls you, and the entire episode is not very happy. You are quite disturbed. You enter the house, it's raining outside. In that rain, you did not take an umbrella also. And in that rain, you enter the house. Your husband has already come back from the office. And he says, "Arey, aaj jara pakodi ho jati chai ke saath to bahut acha rehta." And you flare up. That तुम्हें पकौड़ी की पड़ी है, तुम्हें पकौड़ी की बिना नहीं चलेगा. You become flare up, and then your husband says, "What is this? I have not said anything. If you are not interested, don't make it." But these are the trigger points. That pakodi has become the trigger point of your stress. So you have to analyze that was it a trigger point, and what is the real reason of stress. Unless and until you are able to analyze yourself and find out the real cause of stress, you cannot handle it. Because that is still in your mind, and you are making the pakodi. The best part is, in spite of all that, you will still make the pakodi. He will not say that, okay, let me not make it. He will still make it. He will go on saying something. But at the back of the mind, it is something which is playing up is what has happened in the school. So at times the stressors, when I say the word stressors, are trigger points. Now, when you are stressed out, it has three kinds of reactions. You either fight or flight, or you freeze. What is fight? That, okay, this has happened in the school, never mind. Today the parent was not in good mood. He was just thinking one way. After a week, I will again call him. I'll make him understand that what your thought was is not right. And in the meanwhile, I will try out to talk to the child also. I will call the parents and I will solve the problem. Flight is, let it be now. What has happened has happened. Now I'm not bothered. Okay, if this has happened, it has happened. And it had to happen only to me, not to anybody else. When I'm so sincere, I'm taking so much care of the child, but still this has happened. Okay, let it happen. So run away from the problems. Fight is you face the problems. Flight, you run away. And freeze is you just don't know what to do. Even if the parent is accusing you, you are just keeping quiet. You have completely frozen because your mind just cannot take it. How can this happen? So the best is the fight, then flight, and freeze is something which makes you completely in a position not to decide. For example, I can give you another simple example. There is a lion and you are in the jungle and the lion bounces on you. Fight is you will fight. Flight is you will just run away and save your situation. And at times you get completely frozen over there. That okay, let what has happened. So these are the reactions of the stress. Now I'll deal with the pandemic impacting all across the society. I have already put the entire society into 4 parts, assuming that these 4 categories will take care of each and every member of the society to a great extent. Students in the society, either we have students or we have working adults or we have housewives or we have senior citizens. By housewives, I mean all non-working adults. So in the 4 broad categories, I have divided them, assuming that it is taking care of all. Now, what kind of tension the students have? Online education is going on and on and on and on. They thought in the beginning it's good, it's for a year, for a month, for 2 months. But even in the month of September, there's no guarantee when will the schools reopen. And they are fully tired of it. The power of the eye power has gone up. The specs have become thicker. They've started losing interest because there's nobody to chat. There's nobody to talk about the teacher. Arey, wo kya padha rahe hain, kya ho raha hai. See, we all have done it and we enjoyed doing it. But even the teachers know about it and they also enjoy it. So the enjoyment from both the sides is going away because you are teaching, the child is there. At times the children are on mute, at times they put out their videos. So it is becoming less interactive, they're losing interest. And the higher class children are really worried for their studies. What will happen due to their higher studies? 3 times the JEE and NEET examinations were postponed. Imagine the situation, the pressure under which the children were going. And finally, the JEE has taken place, results are out, and NEET is in the next week. And all this is impacting their health. And the most important is emotional issues. They're all going through a lot of emotional issues. No matter how much are they talking over the line, WhatsApp, video calls, but there's nothing like the feel of facing each other. Now, working adults are tired of working from home. Initially, they were very happy that, okay, we are working from home. But now slowly and slowly, they are getting very tired and you feel that their output is getting less. They feel that the working hours have extended rather than the 6 hours, it is going up to 8 hours and 9 hours. even for the teachers. It's not only teaching the children online. Apart from that, there are meetings and meetings and meetings. The same WhatsApp is coming in 4, 5 WhatsApp groups. The coordinators are in the teachers' WhatsApp, in the principal's WhatsApp group. Then the coordinators are in the teachers' WhatsApp group. The teachers are in the children WhatsApp group. One circular comes to the principal, principals to the vice principal, to the coordinators. And so the same message is coming to you in 6, 7 groups. Imagine the problem what you are facing. Fear of failing, then impact of economic recession. This is going to be a very big problem throughout the world. The salaries are cut, the people have lost their jobs. So a lot of financial commitments which are there, like the EMI, the education of the children, insurance, medical, everything is getting hampered. The future of the child, the working adults, they are worried for that. If examinations don't take place, they are doing internship. But internship online, you can imagine what kind of internship you can have online, but that is what people are doing now. The working adults are worried for the health of the problems, because every time it is showing that the senior citizens are more vulnerable. So just imagine the tension on the working adult. My children have asked me that, Mummy, have you got the insurance or no? Now they're getting the insurance from Singapore, the health insurance. So I was just thinking, and when they asked me, I just put this point, health of the parents. Because I can see that how much they are worried for the health of the seniors of the build of the house. What? Somebody, I think Mausami, Momita, please.
Momita, ma'am, please mute yourself.
She's in the kitchen. The same example, you know. You have with the pressure cooker also. Yes. Now think of the housewives. No domestic help they have. Then the increased domestic work, missing me moments. No matter how much chaos was there in the morning, if everybody has gone, a good cup of tea, legs on the table, nicely inclined and nicely relaxing, and having the cup of tea, and then they used to start seeing the WhatsApp. So when the WhatsApp start pouring from the housewives, understand that everybody is out and they are relaxing. That moment has gone completely. So no matter how much love they have for the family, but their me moments are their moments. Financial instability, I'm going fast because I can see it's already 5:10. And the well-being of family members. Now there's a very special class, which is the working class. So they're working women. Here I take pressure of the working adult plus the housewives, which most of us come under that category. So this I'll explain little more detail. And then the senior citizens, health issues, sedentary life, they were going out, they're meeting their friends, they're having community clubs. All that has stopped. Non-availability of medical help in case of need, that is worrying them. And then they are worried, if anything happens to me, if anything happens to any family members, then what happens? So about the family well-being, everything they are worried about. And all this is leading to stress. So stress is a normal reaction the body has when changes occur. It can respond to these changes physically, mentally, and emotionally. When the stress takes place, the stressors and the trigger points, which we have already discussed, that has to be taken into account. That what is a stress? Is it really was a stress, or was it just a trigger point? So your concentration has to go to the real stress rather than the trigger point. Because we'll go on fighting and they say, you are very demanding, you have made me work after the whole day of school, when your husband is not aware of what has happened in the school. And not only that, you are not aware of that, you are reacting because of that. Because you always believe I am a super person. I leave the school in the school, and when I come home, I am not thinking of the school. But that actually doesn't happen. So let us accept the fact that that doesn't happen. Now, stresses can be positive or negative. Now you can say, what is a positive stress? Examination time. I know if the examination was not there, I would not have studied. But that's a positive stress because we know that this is the time I'm going to get the fruit of my labor. Marriage in the family gives so much of stress, especially in the Indian families, the big fat Indian weddings. Right from the uniqueness of the invitation card, and we all want that there should be something very unique. Right from designing the card till the vidai, everything has to be unique, picture perfect, very elaborate, right from the selection of the dishes, not only selection of the dishes, the ingredients, from where to get the ingredients. We work in so much of detailing. It gives a lot of stress, but it's again positive. We are getting motivated by that. When you make your new house, how much stress it gives? Financial stress it gives. Apart from that, how will you make the house? So no matter how much you try, but the stress is there. But this is all positive stress. And see, the positive stress never get into distress. Positive stress help us to work more, to achieve more. Whereas the negative stresses are like the workload. You feel at times, it is not only for teachers, for everywhere, that 5 people because of pandemic, they have lost suddenly they have got the pink slips, and now that load is on you. But if these negative stresses are for a short time, it's fine. But if it gets into for the longer time, then it changes its shape into distress, which is very bad for the emotional, physical, and mental well-being. So these are the one positive stress you can say about the online education. All of you are under stress. How will it go? But what happened? You learned so much in the process. All of you have changed this into opportunity. I'm sure in the month of January, none of us was so much hand-on this kind of teaching. Now we come to a new point, opportunity of unfavorable situation, but a positive outcome. Unfavorable situation with a positive outcome. Okay, suppose you are new to school, you are not very much at home in computer work, and all of a sudden your principal comes and says that, okay, this is the topic, please make up a nice PowerPoint and send it to me by mail by the evening. You just have 6 hours in hand. And it is giving you stress. I don't know how to do it. Finally, you ask your friend, you meet somebody and say that, okay, please make it. You sit with that person and make it and mail it. So finally, this was not a stress. This problem gave you an opportunity to learn PowerPoint. So see how beautifully you have converted it into opportunity rather than saying, ma'am, mujhe to nahi aata, I just can't do it. Now, I'm coming to the points how these kind of stresses, these kind of challenges can be changed into opportunities. For the children, there's so much of flexibility of time. They can do it anytime, and I know where the children are taking the tutorials in the morning at 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock, in the night at 8 past, because everybody is relaxed at that time and they are taking those classes which was otherwise physically not possible. Flexibility of location. I'm here, you all are there, but you see we are meeting. Either I was in Calcutta or I was in Kandivali or I was in Koikhali or I was in Howrah, it doesn't make the difference. So there's so much of flexibility of location. Now the birthdays and your marriage days and marriage anniversaries are celebrated globally because people from all over the world are joining the celebrations, which was never before. Sharing content library, there's so much to share the content which was not before. So this is an opportunity changed in this, the challenge changed into opportunity. You have exercise, yoga, jogging, all to build up your health. Food, you can now, you are not in a hurry, you are chewing your food properly, you are taking your food on time. and the deep breath exercises. All these Ruchika will tell you how to go ahead. With very, very simple exercises, how can you maintain your good health? Working adults, this you have to accept that some things are not in our control. And some things are temporary. Though it's temporary, though it's impacting, but the fact is it is not in your control. I'll give you a simple example. And see, when the things are not in your control, you have to see how to control it without touching that particular situation or the particular state which is not in your control. You can't touch the present situation. Think beyond the present situation. You have to think out of the box. That, okay, if I can't touch this short line, I can't make this line short. If I can't, if there's no way of earning more at the moment from this job, and I need more because there was a salary cut, how can I earn more by some other way? I know many people are doing 2-3 part-time jobs. So these are all thoughts out of the box. That you cannot stay there and say, oh my God, my salary has been cut, now I can't manage, now I can't manage. That will never work. If you go on saying that I can't manage, nothing is going to work. The third one could be, maybe you think in terms of reducing your expenses, to work more judiciously so that your expenses are less. So you have to think out of the box to work out on that. Now the housewives. I think we all will come under this category, but for one or two, we all want to be the superwoman. This is pandemic, never mind, I will make fresh breakfast, I'll make fresh lunch, and the lunch will be all elaborate. Okay, when I was working, I used to make it in the morning and go, but now I cannot give that food. And even the salad I have to cut at the 11th hour because it will lose its nutrition. When the child was going to school in the morning, we were packing the lunch, but now you want to give everything fresh. And then you say, I can't help it, I am tired. But now why are you tired and who has done it? It is your selection. You chose to do that. So when you chose to do that, it is your responsibility, nobody else's responsibility. Think of that. You chose to do that. So understand family members. So now what is the solution? The solution is to make yourself understand that I am not the superwoman. And if I am doing this, it is not imposed on me. Start taking up responsibility. I have chosen to do that. Nobody has told me to do that. Start delegating. Acha, bhai, khane ke baad you please pick up the plate and keep it in the kitchen. So this way the child will also learn, and on the other hand, your burden will be less. And then at times you become very emotional. You don't understand family members. One of the teachers of MVN has shared this with me. The mother was sick, and that day every family member was normal. The normal life was going on. Even the salad was being cut with the lunch and everything. Everybody, one was normal with her. And she is feeling inside throughout that, see, my mother is sick, but nobody is bothered for that. I'm the only one who is worrying, who is struggling inside. Nobody is understanding my emotions. But the next day morning, she comes to know that they were all acting like that so that she doesn't feel bad about, she doesn't think of the mother more. But not only this, they had called up the mother, they had arranged for the doctor, they had arranged all the possible, whatever was possible for the mother's treatment. And then she was in tears that, look, what I thought of my family members, but how good they are. So try to understand. And once you start understanding your family members, half of your problem will be gone. Now the seniors have to understand worrying means you suffer twice. When it happens at that time, everybody suffers. But senior members start suffering before something happens. And they must know that the younger people can't do anything, but their health is their responsibility. They can provide you the facilities, they can provide you the amenities, they can get the fruits, but you have to have it. To reduce their worry, to reduce their tension, you have to be very practical and you have to take care of yourself. Try to keep, somebody was about sharing that my mother-in-law has become so good in cooking because everybody is at home. So she is taking the advantage of that and going through the YouTube and searching the different kind of dishes, and she is making all new kind of dishes at the age of 75. And she is enjoying cooking thoroughly. So she is getting de-stressed and all the family members are enjoying the food. In so many of us, the children have picked up the cooking. And in America, this has become very popular these days. The children are doing the cooking. So start new recipes, dancing, chair yoga. This I have also started chair yoga, sitting on the chair and doing the yoga exercises. Learn surfing internet. So these are the things which will keep you. I am crossing the time. Is it okay? Jaya?
Yes, ma'am, please.
Okay, thank you. Because Ruchika will, yeah. Now the teaching faculty is very important for you, so that's why I have taken it as a separate one. 1 minute, I'm just, this is all coming in the center. Yeah. So what is happening? You have special responsibilities. A teaching faculty has very, very special responsibility. That is why I always feel that they are very special to all of us. Because your responsibility is not only your child, your children, but your responsibility does not stop at the primary level. Your responsibility doesn't stop at the child. Your responsibility doesn't stop at the student's level. Your responsibility goes much beyond that. From children to the parents, to the society, to their homes, to the future of the society and the nation. So you have a very, very special, in-depth responsibility. Once you have chosen this field, you are aware of this. And now, so that's why your mental health is very important for the society. Because if you are happy, you are the one who will make happy children. So for the happy children, it is you who will make the happy children by being very happy internally. Now, what are your opportunities? Your learning opportunities are sharing of contents with the world. Again, flexibility of time. I think very soon the retirement time will go. Because from home, anybody can teach. Generally, the retirement time was there because you could not travel so much. You were physically not well. But now the retirement time is it has to go. More time for upgradation. You have more time to upgrade yourself, to do online a lot of classes, a lot of courses you can do. And when the NEP, the new education policy, which we will be discussing next week, when you think of that, it is giving you a lot of challenges. It's not that once you come to the teaching field, you will remain like that. Like in other countries, after every 2 years, you have to upgrade your teaching license. And for renewing your teaching license, you have to do some kind of courses, some kind of dissertation, some kind of upliftment of your knowledge. Now, same thing is happening in new education policy also. Now, some people can't take it as a worryful situation. Some can take it, wow, that's good. It's giving me an opportunity to learn more and more. And now the best part is the NEP is it's not that once you join as a primary teacher, you will remain the primary teacher throughout. You can keep on upgrading yourself and you can upgrade yourself from primary to middle, from middle to secondary and all that. This we'll discuss next week. Now you have to tell the children and you have to also learn not to externalize the problem. which happens in most of our cases. We always blame others for our problems. मैं क्या करूं, मुझे तो उसने ऐसा बोल दिया. But who did it finally? And this you have to tell your children also, that the problems is not to blame anybody. The problem is your own problem. I can't see myself. Now, this is a very simple statement, but very, very effective. What is the outcome? The outcome of any event depends on your response. Think of any event. Think of the parent only, the parent who had come to school. So that was the event plus reaction. If suppose a parent was annoyed and you also become annoyed, so the outcome will be very negative. He will go from the school in a very, very negative mode. स्कूल तो सुनता नहीं है, स्कूल तो मेरी बात ही नहीं मानता है, स्कूल तो अपनी ही हाँकते जाता है, टीचर ने तो मेरी बात भी नहीं सुनी. So, and another one is the responsive behavior. What is the difference in reaction and response? Reaction is when you immediately react without thinking. Response is a thoughtful reaction. When you react after a well-thought, a well-planned thought that, okay, this is the parent is saying, is there anything, any substance in that? Can he be correct? Let me check the facts. Then only I will respond to that. Rather than immediately saying that, nahi, hamare school mein to aisa nahi hota hai. Maybe something was wrong. Let me understand the situation. If you tell the parent that, okay, let me understand the situation, you have brought it to my knowledge, let me see and then I'll come back to you. Then the parent will say that, okay, school ne meri baat to suni. And then the outcome will be positive. So any outcome, and this is what we have to teach our children also. And maybe this particular event may turn out to be a very good, he may become a brand ambassador for the school. A parent who was so annoyed to enter the school may become a brand ambassador in the long run because he feels that no, the school's response was very positive. So how a same situation can change the entire concept about the school, the entire thought process about the school. The same thing, reflect on the situation. E plus R is equal to 0, where 0 can be positive or negative. R is the react without thinking and response is act after thinking. And the output, and O depends on the positive or negative, depends on your thoughts. Now the teaching faculty always have to think that there is a direction and a greater purpose. The day you entered this field, you have entered with a vision that I am going as a teaching faculty, so what are my responsibilities? I am not here to teach the child for this day. I am here to teach the child for the entire life. Maybe one day I am not touching anything from the textbook. And this is what the new education policy is talking about. My purpose is to make the child a successful person. And the definition of successful, you have to define. What do you mean by being successful? So your responsibility is to strive for dedication, devotion, and discipline, which has to come right from the beginning. Why the people in Singapore are more disciplined? Because that is being taught after they pass out the school, the 2 years of training they have to do. Otherwise, they will not get any job in Singapore. Come out of your comfort zone, learn new things and go deeper in present area of your interest. जो आता है ठीक है ना, अब तो पढ़ा लिया, अब तो मुझे 30 साल पढ़ाते हो गया. But 30 years of teaching, that doesn't mean that we have grown in those 30 years. How much have we grown in those 30 years? That is important. where when we joined the school and today after 30 years where we are, the important part is that accept help from others. Generally with a big ego, mujhe to sab aata hai, kya पूछना है? But no, that's not the fact. हमें बहुत कुछ नहीं आता. Let us accept the fact that okay, others have done it for me. If I don't know anything and you all have done it during the pandemic, when you started the online teaching, you've taken the help even from the children. And that was so graceful of all of us. I know in many cases the children will help me. Ma'am, is button ko dabaiye, ma'am, isko aise kariye. And we accepted it so happily and we felt so proud that our children are helping us. But many of the teachers said, ma'am, hum log ko to bacche hi sikha rahe hain. And they said it with a lot of confidence for the child that the children are so much advanced than compared to us. Intrinsic motivation. Moving from looking forward to leaping ahead. The battle has to be won within, and this is all with the thought. What thought you have within. For anybody, for yourself, for the growth, if your thought is positive, your reactions will be positive, your response will be positive. If your thought is negative, your response will be negative. So we have to do just one thing, control your thoughts. Once you control your thoughts, everything will start falling in place. And in spite of all this, I will again repeat, in spite of all this, figure out what is really important for you. Still, if one feels that, no, this is not my cup of tea, this is not my area, gracefully come out of it and find out the areas where you feel the satisfaction. Because if the satisfaction is not there, nothing will work out. And then what happens when the satisfaction is not there? The fear crops up. The fear crops up that, okay, I'm not doing my best. And then what is fear? Fear is fantasy, expression, appear real. You start fearing and you go into fantasy. And you start seeing a lot of things which turned out to be real, but which is not real. And now this is the one slide where whatever choice you have taken, being in the education line, being in the field of the family, this is your choice. Nothing was compulsory. No compulsion was there. Suppose if you say, नहीं मैं क्या करती, मुझे तो आज खाना बनाना ही था क्योंकि आया नहीं आई थी. Okay, तुमने क्यों खाना बनाया? इसलिए बनाया कि अगर मैं खाना नहीं बनाती हूँ, if I don't cook, my family members will not have food. So you have measured the pros and cons and then you chose that, okay, no problem, even if the maid is not there, I will cook. If the child was absent in the class for 3 days, you take special classes that, okay, let me teach the child, it is your choice and you feel happy about it. So be responsible and start taking responsibility for your actions. And this is what we have to teach the children. To take up the responsibility for their actions. So just the last slide. Now remember, solution is with you. Every problem has a gift for you in its hands. And for that, what you have to do? You have to assess the situation. What are your resources? Act accordingly. The sooner you take up the challenge, the quicker it stops worrying you. So don't procrastinate. You have to take up the responsibility and you have to act accordingly. Now I will request, thank you so much. I will request Ruchika to kindly carry on with the yoga because that will give you the mental, physical and emotional fitness.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Goyal. So I'll just quickly see, I need to share the slides. If you can pass on the admin rights, I don't have the admin rights. I will not be able to share the screen.
Okay, I'll do
just have like a small presentation, which if we can go through.
Okay, I'll do that, Ruchika.
Okay. So if you can just make me as a co-host.
Yes. Got it?
Don't see it yet. No, not yet.
Okay.
If you can just click against my name, just right click against my name and you just click
Okay.
on cohort.
Okay, okay, okay. Yes, got it?
Yeah, it is working now.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so thank you. So thank you so much. It's an honor to be a part of this webinar. So today I will be speaking about yoga and the practices for building resilience and confidence in the face of the challenges. So Dr. Goel has very beautifully covered all the mental aspects, you know, explaining all through what are the kind of challenges in the different societies that everybody is actually facing and how your mental attitude, your thoughts, if you can control them, you can, you know, be stress-free. So today I'll just go a little bit. So yoga also, I'll cover from the yoga perspective as well, similar things. But how do we do this? I think the biggest challenge that all of us have is, yes, we can think positively, but you know, the thoughts keep coming to us. You know, what is the worry? What is stress? We keep on thinking about it and there are repeated thoughts that keep coming. And I don't want to think, but I will still keep on thinking about it. How do I get control over this? That is a challenge for all of us today. So without any further delay, let me just share my screen. So I've just put something together here. Can you hear me?
Yes, Ruchika,
Yes.
we can hear you.
Okay,
Yes,
okay,
Yes,
okay.
yes, we can hear.
Okay, fantastic.
Yes, ma'am, we can
So let me just go through. So I think, you know, all of you are living in India, so you all know what yoga is actually. But still, I'll spend a little, a short while on this slide. So yoga is actually a skillful trick to calm down your mind. Now, in the text, in the yogic texts, it is defined as mana prashamana upayah, yoga iti bhit. So this means that it's a skillful trick to calm down your mind. It helps to gain mastery over your mind and your body. Now, yoga is actually not just the physical movement, which is what we understand today, is just the asanas, you know, what you actually see, but it is much more beyond that. But what exactly it is? So it is the mental attitude. And we have already understood, you know, how mental attitude, the positive attitude, the way we think is an important aspect. The second one is the breathing. And the last one is the body movement. So now, before I move on to my next slide, I want to ask you all, how many times do we eat in a day? I can't see everybody, but yeah, I would like if you can put your answers on the chat box. I'll just pick it up from there. If you can just put your answers on the chat box. So I know that the time is a little short, but still, you know, if you can just be a little interactive, that'll be very helpful. I think some of you have already done this before, so maybe you guys can help others as well. Okay, so I can see 3, 4, 2, 3, 5 times as well. Okay, that's excellent. So it comes to my next question. How many times do you breathe in a day? And if you can also put your answers on the chat box, that'll be good. How many times are you breathing in a day? Whole day. Yes, of course, whole day. But again, like you have numbers. I thought, Prithiji, you should have an answer for this at least. Infinite. Okay. Never counted. Yes, whole day. Of course, you're breathing whole day. So all of us are breathing whole day. But just to give a perspective, we are eating 2 to 3 times or maybe 5 times in a day. But we are breathing 20,000 times in a day. So do we realize what is the importance of actually breathing? I mean, all day what we do is we think about, you know, kya khana hai, you know, what, like Dr. Goel explained, you know, we spend a lot of time, especially women are spending all the time, what's for breakfast, what's for lunch, what's for dinner. So we are spending all the time, but do we really think about how we are breathing? So breathing is actually a very important aspect. It is the connection between our mind and our body. So if you can control your breathing, you will be able to control your mind. So asanas, pranayams are various techniques which are mentioned in the yoga texts to gain mastery over your mind. So before I show you some breathing practices, so the idea is, so that you can take away certain things which you can do it by yourself. But before I move on to that, I'll quickly touch upon the stress aspect as well. What exactly it is and what is happening within our body. Whenever there is stress, the hypothalamus is excited, which in turn is sending the electrical impulses through the sympathetic nervous system. So the flight and the fight mode is activated. So you can clearly see what is actually happening inside our body because of the stress. So the stored sugar and the fat, it pours into the bloodstream because you require quick energy. Your breathing rate shoots up. Next time you're stressed, I would request you to just put your finger under your nose and see how fast is your breathing. So your heart rate speeds up, the blood pressure also goes up. So your bowel movement, the bladder muscles loosen, cortisol pours into the system. So a lot of things actually happen inside our system because of this. So our nervous system is controlling all of this. So from here, I'll demonstrate some of the practices which will help you, which will be breathing and some stretching practices. So the breathing practices will help you to regulate the breathing, make it continuous, slow and steady, and you will be able to utilize all the lobes of your lung. It will also help you to calm down your mind. So let us look at the first one. I request you all to, if you can, these are simple practices. Maybe you all can practice together when you see the video. I'm doing it in standing, but you can do it on the chair as well. So you can just come into any comfortable seated position. Keep some gap in front. So you can do it in sitting. So as you can clearly see that we're expanding our chest here. So again, your lungs, you're filling air into your lungs. At the same time,
Yes, frozen. Ruchika is frozen.
From today onwards, you will start giving me 5 words that can be used in our day-to-day life in any field. हाँ?
Like example?
Like example, जैसे कि हमको
Actually, ma'am,
words जो मुझे नहीं पता.
ma'am, please mute yourself. Momita ma'am. Momita ma'am, you'll have to mute yourself.
It's not.
Hello.
Yes, Ruchika.
Yeah, I think I have some problem with my computer suddenly, so I don't know. I lost the connection.
Okay.
So I will not be able to share the screen. Somehow it looks like I've just joined from my phone. But what we can actually do is, so you've seen the first practice, which was the hand in and out breathing. So maybe, I'll just demonstrate the other practices and we can do it together, because now it's more on the practical part. So for the second practice is actually hand stretch breathing. In this, you interlock your hand, you bring it to your chest. So we'll do it together in sitting position. As you inhale, so you stretch your hands forward with your palm facing outward. And as you exhale, you bring your palms back to your chest and you relax your shoulders completely. So in this, we are using the upper part of our lungs while doing this practice. We'll do this one more time. As you inhale, you stretch your hand forward. And as you exhale, bring your palms back to your chest and relax your shoulders. So now we'll be using the middle part of our lungs. As you inhale, we'll breathe in till 135. And exhale, bringing it back. And again, you'll relax your shoulders, practicing comfortably without straining your neck or your shoulders. One more time. As you inhale, you stretch up to 135. And exhale, bring your palms back to your chest. And in the last one, fully utilizing your lungs, as you inhale, fully breathe in. Stretch both your arms up, palms facing the ceiling, but keeping your neck and shoulders relaxed. And as you exhale, you can bring your palms to your chest and relax your shoulders. So one more time, inhale, stretch up. And exhale, bring it back. So palms to your chest and completely relax. So relaxing this. So the next after this, I wanted to demonstrate was actually the neck practices. Especially in the current situation, we're using your laptops, computers quite a lot. And more so, we tend to hold a lot of our stress in the neck region. So neck practices are actually quite important. So for neck practices, again, you can practice together with me. You come into any comfortable seated position. And you can keep your eyes closed and gently move your neck to the right side. Feel the stretch in your neck and then moving to your left. Now make your movement slow, practice with awareness. Slowly again, moving it to your right and to your left. You can come back to the center and then you can tilt your neck to the right side. Now while lifting your shoulders up, just gently tilt and feel the stretch in your neck. Bring it back to the center and then to your left. And feel the stretch. Again, awareness is very important. When you're aware, you bring your energy into that region. So come back to the center. Similarly, you can look up, feel the full stretch in your neck up, and then bring it down. And you can come back to center. So each side, so left to right, you can do 5 to 10 times. Tilting, you can do again 5 to 10 times. Do it slowly with awareness, and again, up and down also can be done. Another one is neck rotation. But again, if you have some neck conditions, I wouldn't recommend you to do those practices. So moving on to the next practice. So since time is very short, I'll just demonstrate one practice and I'll do it in standing. Since again, I've lost the video, I'll just do it in standing. So from here, you'll bring both your hands by the side and you'll keep your legs together. Now, as you inhale, you take your right hand up, fully stretch up. You lengthen. And as you exhale, you bend to your left side. You can do it in sitting also if you feel like. That's fine. You bend to your left side. Feel a full stretch on your right side and the compression on your left side. Now, as you will observe in this posture, the spine is getting a lateral stretch. Usually, we don't tend to do this. Now, again, you can inhale, come back up, and exhale. Slowly, you can bring your hand down. And I'll show it to you from the other side as well. Inhale, left hand will go up fully. You stretch out, lengthen, create space here. And then as you exhale, you can bend to your right side. Avoid leaning forward or backward, just from your sides. It'll also help to reduce any fat around the waist region. So inhale, you can come back up. exhale and release. Now, most importantly, why I have demonstrated this posture is because it's working on your nervous system. So when you're working on your spine, you're working on your nervous system. So it's a very good practice, having almost no contraindication. So it can be practiced by anybody. So again, a very good practice to relieve stress, to work on the nervous system. So, and from here, another type of practices which can be done, since this topic is for building confidence. Backward bending postures are extremely good. So when you're actually going for backward bending postures, you're opening your heart up, right? And it helps to build. So in Chinese, we actually say you're opening up your heart meridian or your kidney meridians. So that is by doing the backward bending postures. So that is actually very effective. Over a period of time, you will see that it does make a lot of difference. But again, backward bending postures are great for people with backaches. But again, there are some contraindications. So you should consult somebody before doing any practices. So with this, the last one is the pranayam, which I wanted to touch on. So for pranayam, I'll do a quick, simple check with you guys. So again, I want you to be interactive in this. I can't see most of you here, but let's be a little bit more interactive here. So I want you to actually bring your finger underneath your nose. And now I want you to see which, are you breathing from your right nostril or are you breathing from your left nostril?
Right.
So yeah, you put your answers on the chat box as well. Some could be from right, some could be from, put your answers on the chat box. Okay, so a lot of you are breathing from your right nostril right now. Anybody else? Nobody from the left? Or some of you are not breathing at all. Okay, I can see, yes, okay. Okay, so just to understand that during, different times of the day, depending upon your body, depending upon, whether you've taken food at that time, the temperature outside, everything will actually determine which side will be a bit more active. And in a very short period of time, it keeps changing. You can experiment this for yourself. Maybe, an hour later, you might see that, your left has become a bit more active. But the most importantly is to keep a balance between the both of them. Usually diseases will occur when, one side is more active than the other. Hence, to keep a balance is very important. So one of the most important practices in pranayam is Anulom Vilom, which I think all of you in India probably know. But we'll still do it together so that you understand, if anybody has any doubts, you can ask me as well. So you can come into Nasika Mudra. So you fold the two fingers next to your thumb. So folding the two fingers next to your thumb. I'm trying to bring it closer so that you can see. Yes. Yeah. And you can sit upright. So avoid, slouching. Just sit upright in this. So keep your spine fully straight. Now you bring your So bring your thumb to your right nostril. Exhale the air from your left. Yes, sit upright. And now you inhale from your left. Use the two fingers, close your left, and exhale from your right. Now you inhale from your right. Close your right and exhale from your left. Again, you will inhale from your left. Closing your left, exhaling from your right. So now this is a very effective practice, again, for your stress, to calm down your mind and to bring a balance inside your system. So it is working through both the nadis inside, which is called Ida and Mula Nadi, that we are actually activating and trying to bring a balance between both. It doesn't have any contraindications, can be practiced by anybody. So recommendation again would be at least do 9 times. You can do 27 times. It'll be very good, very effective. And the last practice which I wanted to do today with you is Brahmari. So Brahmari is the sound of a female humming bee. Again, a very good practice for relieving stress. So from here, you can come into Shanmukhi Mudra. So you bring your thumb, you close your ears. Use your fingers. You can place it above your eyes, nose, above the lips, and under the lips. and you completely close, gently pressing. You will inhale together. And we'll make a sound of a humming bee. And you can release the hands and just feel the vibrations in your head and your throat region. It's a very calming practice. Can be done anytime. If anybody has any sleep issues, also both the practices are extremely good. It can be done in the night as well. So I think with this, I have tried to briefly cover. I think we are running quite a lot, short over time. I think so. So if anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask. Otherwise, yeah, I think I'll pass it to Dr. Goel to summarize and wrap up, I guess.
Ma'am.
Yes.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Shilpi.
Yes, ma'am. Seeing you after a long time.
Yeah. Yes.
Actually, I want to ask, which time is the best time to do this Bhamri and breathing exercise? I mean, is there any connection like taking food after half an hour or 1 hour? Is there anything like that?
So both of them, technically, you should do it first thing in the morning if you can. If not, you can do it before your meals. Avoid immediately after meals because you want your digestive system to work. So you don't, you don't need to do this right away. You can give a gap of about like an hour or 2 hours and you can practice after that.
Evening is the right time to do, ma'am?
You can absolutely do Anulom Vilom and Bhramari can be easily done in the night. Evening time, no problem at all. In fact, my recommendation will be if you have time, if people really have the time, try to do this 4 times in a day. It has, as per the texts, again, it has significant benefits. You almost will have no illnesses if you can actually practice this 4 times a day, 27 times each. So 27 rounds of Anulom Vilom, and you can do 27 rounds of Bhramari as well.
Ma'am, how much time we should do this? 10 minutes, 15 minutes, like that?
You can do 10 minutes, yes, no problem at all. So Anulom Vilom and Bhramari.
10 minutes, 4 times?
No. So if you continue to do 10 minutes, it can be any number of rounds that you're doing. So 1 time right and 1 time left is considered as 1 round, but you don't need to count. You can do it you can do it for 10 minutes. It's perfectly fine.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, good afternoon, ma'am. Ma'am, can you suggest any book where I can get much information about this yoga postures and yoga?
Sure. So I would recommend that Bihar School of Yoga, in terms of the texts, they have they have got very good texts. So you can look at that publication. Yes, I would say it's very authentic, actually, information to get. So they have a book which is called Asana, Pranayam, Mudras and Bandhas. It's an orange color book. You can look for that. Or the original text is actually Hatha Yoga Pradipika. So if you wanted to go for that, you can look for that as well. But again, any publication from Bihar School of Yoga, I think, would be good because they've consolidated and put everything very quite nicely.
Thank you, ma'am.
So anyone's query is left? Any
question? Yeah. Any question on any topic? Any particular situation that where you feel that how will you convert it into an opportunity? Any particular situation if you have in mind that no, this will remain as a problematic area. How will I convert such a big problem into an opportunity? But I strongly believe each and every situation can be converted into an opportunity. It is only a thought process. If you think it, it will be.
Good afternoon, Dr. Goel. Good afternoon, Ruchika ma'am. It was really lovely. It was really, we were all thinking that we are going to join. We don't know what we are going to really learn, but it was so effective. Actually, we have learned resilience today. Unknowingly, we have been doing this every day. All of us, actually, we fight with so many things, as Dr. Goel has discussed with us. Unknowingly, we have been practicing. But when you get a direction from somebody like Dr. Goel, you know, it becomes more effective. So there are several skills to build resilience, you know. So she has really explained it so well, elucidated it so nicely. It has really gone inside. Now, resilience is important for several reasons. It enables us to develop mechanisms and, you know, calm down, especially during this pandemic. We all are really stressed. It's like the stretching of the rubber band and where it just might tear. So this workshop came right on dot at this time. I'm really thankful to you, Dr. Goel and Ruchika ma'am, that you've explained so well. I was really overtaken, and I would really ask you, teachers were asking, so I could not ask you, do you have a YouTube channel? Or have you made something like that, Ruchika ma'am? Where we could...
Yes, so I do have a YouTube where I've started only during this COVID times. And again, like, want some videos. So I have started putting in some videos.
Please
which will
share,
have...
ma'am.
So the
share the link with us, or we may search some words.
You can look it up on YouTube. It's called Yoga Library Singapore.
Yoga Library.
Yoga Library Singapore. So if you look up for that, you can get it. Otherwise, I'll share the link anyway. So I'll pass it to Dr. Well. She can actually pass it to you all.
We would love it. We would love it. Okay, then.
Of the pranayam practices, meditation, and all the other techniques as well, which I was to show you in the presentation anyway. But yeah, everything is actually there on that channel as well.
That is so nice. Actually, I wanted that. Thank you.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm really grateful to Dr. Goel and Ruchika ma'am, and especially ma'am, Mrs. Jalan, for arranging this for us. All the teachers for participating, Mrs. Pradhan taking up all the initiative with Dr. Goel, and it was our pleasure. It was really our pleasure. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. We are going to eagerly wait for your next session on the 19th.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Mr. Chaitya Mukherjee. It was so nice to be with all of you. This I've got as a bonus, apart from the workshop. I think the bonus was more interesting. Very nice interacting with you all, and thanks to Vidula ma'am to arrange it. And Jaya ma'am was throughout for the coordination, and all the teachers for joining this event. I loved it.
One thing I want to say about Ruchika. I started yoga with Ruchika from March or April, and I lost 10 kgs weight. Today only I am the real example, ma'am.
Pritu ma'am, we also want to join. Pritu ma'am, we also want to join.
6 kgs here. I am with her. I have lost 6 kgs. My husband has lost about 9 kgs.
Ma'am, we also
I
want
lost
to
10
join.
kgs. Today only in the morning I measured. So I saw, wow, the scale is 10 kg less.
That's the reason
why. We are on the other way around. We have been gaining weight, so we badly need it.
So Ruchika ma'am, how to take the course from you? Ruchika ma'am, can you please tell us how to join?
Yes, ma'am, we want to join.
Yes, see.
Ma'am, really, Ruchika has without fail, every day she was doing the yoga with us. Every day she is teaching and correcting each and every one.
That is so nice. Okay. So Ruchika ma'am was saying something, how to join her classes.
So for classes actually on the weekends, so I'm currently doing, since things have opened up in Singapore, so we are just running these classes now on weekends. Weekends we are doing 5:30 to 6:30 Singapore time, which is 3 to 4 p.m. India time.
Yes.
So every Saturday, every Sunday. So if you all are interested, I can share the Zoom link, and yes, I'll be very happy to have you all, in the class.
That's so nice.
Sure.
We'll be happy to join too. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I don't think so anyone really mind the, extended time. In fact, we wanted more. So we await the next time we see you, ma'am.
Yes. Thank you all so
you,
much.
ma'am.
Thanks.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. It's our pleasure, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It is
Thank you,
always
ma'am.
pleasure
Thank
to
you
talk
so
to
much,
you.
ma'am.
Yes,
Great.
ma'am.
It's
Thank
my
you so much,
pleasure,
ma'am.
really.
We'll anxiously
Thank
wait
you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Looking forward for
Bye-bye.
this.
Thank you so much.
ma'am.
Thank you.
Such a
Thank you,
productive day.
ma'am. Looking forward.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. It's always a pleasure to interact with you and to learn and learn and learn more from you.
Yes, and it's expanding.
All the
Thank you
young
so
hearts,
much,
young teachers.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Good to see you after a long time.
Yes, thanks. Thanks, Bhavna.
Really feeling very happy.
Thank you, ma'am.
Monica.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Ban,
Thank
it
you,
was very
ma'am.
nice.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you,
Thanks,
ma'am.
Shreya. Thanks, Shreya. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Good
Thank
to
you
have
so
this kind of
much,
session
ma'am.
again, ma'am.
Mr. Ban,
I
I
want
found
to
it
share
very,
so much, ma'am.
very nice. Very, very nice.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
All your session, I have stayed back in the library, ma'am, to have this session.
I can see the library behind. Yeah. All the
Yes,
books
ma'am.
on the shelf. Yes, very nice.
So
Very
getting
nice.
the proper network connection. So that is right.
Yes.
Thank
I
you,
was
ma'am.
feeling nostalgic when I saw those Almira, the books of the library. Yes. Yes.
You must come one day, Mrs. Dr. Goel, when everything is all right. You are most welcome and invited to from our side.
Sure, sure. Well, I'll have a cup of tea in your chamber.
Sure. More than a cup of tea, actually.
Thank you. Thanks for the invitation. Yeah.
Should we leave now? Should we leave?
Thank you.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you,
Ma'am, do
ma'am.
visit us. Bye, ma'am.
Bye-bye.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am.
Thank you and bye, ma'am.
Ma'am, do visit us.
Bye, ma'am. Thank you,
Thank you and bye, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am. Bye, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am.
Thank you.
Bye, ma'am. Bye. Bye, ma'am.
Bye. Thank you, ma'am. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Bye-bye. See you next week, all of us.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Yes,
surely, surely.
Definitely, ma'am. Definitely.
Definitely.
Yes.
Okay, ma'am.
Bye.
Ma'am. Bye, ma'am.
Thank
Bye.
you so much.
So everything is not in your control. And what has happened? Why is this? So you have to think in the way how to control it. And then the third, for example, if I draw two lines, one is a shorter line and one is a longer line, and there's no eraser, I think all of you know about it, and I tell you to make one line bigger, and both the lines I draw of the same size, and I tell you that okay, you make this line one line bigger, and I tell you that okay, you make the first line shorter, and there's no eraser. I think all of you can answer me. Can anyone answer me? How will you make the top line shorter?
Yes, ma'am, I can.
Yes, how will you do it? Yes.
By just drawing a bigger line of the shorter line. Just beside that line, I'll draw a bigger line.
Bigger line, right.
Larger line.
Very good. Now you see, how will you deal that in your life? When